no one can predict the revolution, but standing in the moment, in the solidarity with them. News that comes from Iran is never portrayed in these podcasts, whether independent media or media. I don't believe in independent media. Mainstream media is tied to their corporate donors, and independent media is tied to their subscribers and donors. So you will say always the narratives that will satisfy your subscribers. I'm not just saying you, I'm talking about generally in media. But I am hearing the news from Iran.
Okay.
What do you do?
So that's what I'm asking you guys, because I want to help, but I don't know how to help.
We given our answer. We gave our answer.
But here's no.
I want to hear your answer. What does solidarity mean, other than just saying, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that? What are you going to do positively then?
Joining me now is Dr. Cornel West and Dr. Anahita Mahdavi West, and we're going to talk about Iran. And that is a very difficult situation because, in my opinion, the Iranian regime is not a good one. On the other hand, I believe Israel's the one trying to topple them. So, but I want to welcome you guys in. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you, though, brother. And we salute you, your voice and your courage. You're in the middle of battle, my brother.
Thank you, Dr. West. Appreciate it. You as well, for sure. In this case, I'm going to start with the other Dr. West. So, Anita, you were born and raised in Iran, so this is something that you're familiar with your whole life. So tell me, first, let's start with the regime first, and then we'll talk about what to do. But obviously, if you're on the left, you don't want a religious, ethno-state that is run by a few number of people, I would imagine. So that's my opinion. What's your opinion on
it? Thanks for having us, Cenk. Well, it's hard to say if I want to be on the left, if the left is defined by the left that I witnessed right now in America. But I am on the side of humanity and on the side of standing in solidarity with oppressed people, no matter where, whether it's Palestine, which we have always talked about the genocide of Gaza, or with my own people who have been oppressed for 46 years under a tyranny of monsters. Yes, I was born and raised in Iran. I lived through the regime of Shah and the monarchy, and I have lived at least, I would say, 6 years also under the Islamic regime. I come from a revolutionary family. I've had uncles and aunts that were killed by Shah in their prison or as the militia activities they had. My own father was in and out of prison, and the same thing happened continuously after the revolution. So yes, I don't think anybody in the world wants to be under authoritarian, totalitarian regimes where it tells you how to think, what to wear, what to eat, what to do or not do. I don't think anybody wants to if you ask anybody. But what has been really interesting is that the left that you call the left in America has been erasing and trying to minimizing the agony and the oppression and the suffering of Iranian people with this ideological debates and conversations, making Iran a geopolitical chessboard without mentioning the 46 years of fighting and resistance by the people. All I hear is Iran's regime is a resistance. First of all, they are not. It's all a facade that they are anti-imperialist. They're not. They're sitting at the table with China and Russia and America. And so they're not. And the true anti-imperialism, in my opinion, is truly and genuinely standing in solidarity with all oppressed people, even whether it's internationally or nationally. So throughout the past 46 years, from the massacres of prisoners in 1980s, few of them my friends that I still don't know where they are. Nobody knows. They just disappeared. And to many other uprisings, to 2009, to Women Life Freedom, to the Green Movement, to many other uprisings in between until this revolution. So yeah, Iranian people want freedom. Iranian people want dignity. Yes, it is a very complex layer and then multi-layer political fractions. I understand that. But what is very disappointing is that people are now debating on numbers. Well, it's not 30,000, it's 3,000. Tell us what number satisfy you, because as an Iranian, one is one too many. So it's just the same dialogue that we had to fight when there was a genocide against Palestine, and we kept hearing, oh, it's not 70,000, it's not 25,000 children, it's all Hamas. Right. And we fought against it, and we said, no, these are true. Statistics, one Palestinian child is one too many, but that is not the case when it comes to Iran. Under this umbrella of being anti-war and anti-imperialist and anti-imperialism.
So I hear you on that, and since you're both Dr. West, I'm going to use the parlance of Dr. Cornel West and say, Sister West, so I'm clear on it.
Fine. Okay. You can call me Anahita.
Just sister and brother,
okay.
brother.
Okay, so on the issue of Iran's tyranny of this regime, I don't know where the so-called left stands. I don't think anyone speaks for all of the left, et cetera. So leave the left, right, et cetera out. But do I concede that Iran is tyrannical? I don't know about anybody else. Me, of course, right? Did they help the Palestinians? They did. Maybe they did it for their own reasons. But okay, but that doesn't justify their tyrannical rule in Iran. So I'm clear on that. But that's not the hard question. The hard question is, yes, but what do we do? Because the Israelis clearly want to topple this regime. They're not going to put in someone you like. They're going to put in the Shah, who Shah Jr., your family was fighting Shah Sr. earlier. And they're never, ever going to do the right thing. And if America intervenes, it's not going to be for the protesters. It's not going to be for the Iranian people. It's going to be for the Israelis. So then what do we do?
Okay, but you go.
Just jump in, or did you direct that to Sister West?
Yeah, I did, yes. So, and then I'll come back to
have you saying,
yeah.
As an Iranian diaspora, I've lived outside of Iran since 1985. I do have my political stance. I'm not a monarchist. I'm not a nationalist. I'm not a federalist. I'm not with any party at all. As a person in diaspora, I have my own political ideology. But I am not going to tell Iranian people what is it that they need to do, that they are wrong to call this, the son of Shah, that they are wrong to want this and that. You're asking me what should we do? I am telling you what I hear from the people in Iran that message me is that amplify our voices, talk about the massacres, talk about the imprisonments, talk about the oppression. Do not waste time and energy constantly on political debates of this or that. For example, just this morning, when there is just minutes and moments of having some internet connection, this is what I got from Iran. No power, no electricity, no water, no food, no money, no job, no internet. They are literally living in a dark dungeon. So I am not going to come and say, the son of Shah bad and this person good, and that I am going to amplify their voices. It's not that everybody wants in Iran is walking and praying and saying, we want war, bomb us. They are asking about intervention, yes. And a lot of the people believe that because there is not necessarily a visible leader, the son of Shah is a good choice for the transition, as he says. And yes, many also genuinely want him back. What I want is for this regime to be gone. And then the narrative of they help Palestinian people. Have you heard about few of the Palestinian people that actually stood up in solidarity with Iranians and say, this is a false narrative? They never helped Palestinian people. They helped the upper Hamas and other people? Did they build a socialist social services in Palestine? Did they help Palestinian people out of poverty? These are all false narratives. People, you're asking me what to do, Cenk, brother Cenk. Listen to the voices of Iran. We listen to the lived experiences day in and day out and amplify their voices and stand in solidarity with them.
But that doesn't help me that much. I'm just being honest with you guys, and so Cornel, I'll go to you next, because so here's what I mean by that, right? So if you want me to sympathize with the people of Iran, done. I sympathize 100%, and I wouldn't want to be in their situation. I understand the desperation to get rid of this government, and I want the people of Iran to be free. And is that desperation leading them to go, well, it was a little better under the Shah, right? So maybe we get, Shah Jr. and etc. But that brother has said that he's going to work for Israel. There's no question that he is Israel, period. And so I'm not going to say yes to that. And he'd be a king, he'd be a dictator. That's not a left-wing position, that's not a justice position. So like the people in Iran can say, hey, I'm desperate, can you help me bring in an Israeli king? My answer is no, no. Your desperation is correct, right? But your problem is correct, but your solution is not correct, right? But even and beyond that, I don't really care Shah or not Shah. The core question is, yes, but what do we do? Because bombing Iran, I don't think is going to help in any way, shape, or form. So, but I don't know what the right answer is, and that's why I'm genuinely asking, trying to find the answer.
No, but I think 2 points, though, that I think I disagree with you, my dear brother. I mean, first, every nation and the people in that nation have a right to resistance, and they have a right to revolution. You don't look at any nation just through the lens of some superpower or regional power, and you overlook the precious humanity of the people who are being crushed. That could be true in the gangsterized imperial United States. It's true in terms of precious Palestinians dealing with genocide in Gaza. It's true for precious Iranians dealing with unbelievable repression in Iran. It's true in any nation, in Russia, in China. So that if all you're doing, though, brother, is looking at Iran through the lens of what Israel's going to do with their gangster politics, then you're never going to be able to be in contact in a concrete way with the suffering, because you're going to be looking at it solely in terms of pawns on an ideological chessboard vis-a-vis a repressive Israeli regime. Now, you and I hate to agree that Israel is responsible for genocide sponsored by the United States. We have been clear about that. We are uncompromising about that. No doubt about that. But that doesn't mean that somehow you think if Israel is going to either take over or dictate. No, the people in Iran have agency and dignity and integrity, and they're not going to be simply pawns of Israeli power. The CIA is the same way. The CIA has their own talking points, and they want to destabilize Iran. And then people want to say to us, you must be tied to the CIA. Get off the mother-hucking crack pipe. We're zeroing in on the suffering of these folk, and the CIA has been engaging in their project for a long, long time. We had the same challenge in South Africa in 1980. I can remember the dialogues that we had. Soviet Union supporting Mandela, supporting the Black freedom struggle, and yet we still were willing to raise our voices if the Soviet Union was engaging in repressive policies in the Soviet Union, because we didn't want to be on anybody's plantation, brother. I come out of the Black freedom movement, which means I'm getting off this US imperial plantation, but I'm not getting on the Israeli gangster plantation. I'm not getting on the Iranian repressive plantation or Russian plantation or China's plantation. But people who say, well, no, this is not about morality, Brother West, this is about strategy. And strategy means I can be wined and dined in China. I can be wined and dined by gangsters in Iran because they're part of the axis of resistance. And if you're part of the axis of resistance, the people in the countries have no right to resist and no right to revolution. That's bankrupt, brother. Morally bankrupt, but even though it is right in terms of the critique of the United States. It's right in terms of the critique of the Israeli genocide against Palestinian people.
Right, but this is another super important clarification. And it really, again, doesn't get quite to the point. So, Dr. West, I hear you. You know, you and I agree on so many things. And so now, if the Iranian people want to do a revolution, I'm not against that. I love it. If they organically overthrew this government and instituted, first of all, a democracy, I'd be thrilled. A genuine democracy in Iran, that would be perfect, right? Even if they said, hey, look, we didn't have any elections or anything, but I don't know, we don't have any other choice. It was really the people of Iran that did this revolution, and we're gonna put in the Shah, and then we'll figure it out later. That's their business, it's not my business, right? So I understand that. But again, if they're gonna do that organically, wonderful, nobody's stopping them, right? And so have like-
well, the repressive regime is stopping them, and organically they've been trying to do it for a good while.
Yeah, no, I mean like in the West.
Mossad or the CIA has been trying to do. They've been trying to do it, brother. Human beings respond against oppression.
No, of course, but hold on. Let me ask this question. Because I hear you guys, the people are trying to do a revolution, they're real. And the regime is trying to stop that. That's real, of course, right? But what do we do? Because when we bombed Iraq, that didn't help at all. It just cost trillions of dollars. I mean, yeah, again, as the Israelis got another puppet government and that, et cetera, that's fine. And they got rid of Saddam Hussein. But what do we do? What do we do with Iran?
I have told you what you do, but you don't want to. You don't like the answer because you like to continue speaking about the geopolitical issues and Israel and all of that. Okay, but what you want to do? Talk to Iranian people, get their views, the lived experiences, the testimonials, and see what they want. Iranian people are, as my husband Cornell said, they have agency, they have dignity. This is not a generation that goes under another dictatorship at all. And if they want to bring the son of Shah, who are you, who am I to tell him, oh no, that's wrong, stay under this oppression, keep getting killed, keep getting oppressed.
But Anita, no one's
saying that. But I have faith in my people that they are not going to allow another dictatorship come and take over. They are not going to.
Okay, that's great, but what do we do? You guys, look,
our revolution was hijacked. Revolutions are always messy. The results are always messy. No one can predict the revolution, but standing in the moment, in the solidarity with them. News that comes from Iran is never portrayed in these podcasts, whether independent media or media. I don't believe in independent media. Mainstream media is tied to their corporate donors, and independent media is tied to their subscribers and donors. So you will say always the narratives that will satisfy your subscribers. I'm not just saying you, I'm talking about generally in media. But I am hearing the news from Iran. I was just told that a friend of a neighbor's daughter a couple of weeks ago woke up dead from the internal injuries. The massacres of the people that were arrested. Thousands of people lost eyes. We have the most one-eye people in Iran because of the bullets. And then when they get the bodies of their massacred and beloved people, or sons and daughters and fathers and mothers and sisters, they have to pay for the bullet in their bodies. Talk about these things. Change the narrative. Shift the narrative to show the sufferings of Iranian people. You and I cannot say, oh, I like a revolution, but not this revolution. Then you're not standing in the right side of the history.
I don't know why I keep saying it and you're not hearing me. I'm in favor of the revolution, no problem. No problem, arguably a very good thing. And I said to you already, it's not my business to tell them who to put in. If they put in the Shah, that's their business, not my business.
That's it, okay, exactly.
So hold on. So okay, and why do I have you on? Because I think that what you're saying is important, and people need to hear that message. And by the way, you're not the only one saying it. I know plenty of Persians here in LA, and by the way, not just Jewish Persians, but tons of Muslim Persians who say, and Christians, etc., who say no, they're in favor of the revolution. They have family in Iran. They hate this regime. Put aside every other host, I totally agree with that. I get it completely. But I keep asking, yes, but what are we going to do? So Dr. Cornel West, so what do you suggest we do as the United States of America?
I think we ought to be in wholesale solidarity with the people resisting and trying to fundamentally change a not just repressive regime, but a deeply fascist one. Now, what does standing in solidarity mean? As my beloved wife says, not just listening to their voices, but heeding their voices. And in heeding their voices, what are they calling for? They're calling for a change in which there is a process by which a transitional government sets in for a number of months. You might have the son Shah, but he himself is not coming in to impose any kind of dictatorship and be in the back pocket of Israel. We know he's friendly with Israel. He's wrong on that issue. He will be contested. He will be pushed by the precious, struggling people of Iran. That's what it means to be in solidarity with resistance, brother. That's why when you keep coming back to your question, well, what does it mean to be in solidarity with resistance? Well, if we're in solidarity with the Palestinians, what do? We responded with BDS. They ask us, can you support boycott, sanctions, and the divestment? Of course, we listen to the voices. I come out of the Black community, we lift the voices of people who are suffering. It's a variety of voices, there's no doubt about that. But I'll tell you one thing we don't do, brother. You don't render the suffering invisible, and you don't erase and eliminate the suffering by playing some ideological games about, we can't say a mumbling word about acts of resistance because Israel and CIA are trying to destabilize the very nation that you're calling for resistance against. That is nothing but a justification and a rationalization of massive repression that ensures that the revolution that you're calling for is a highly narrow, ideologically driven, and in the end, money driven. Because you're not in solidarity with people who are suffering, you're in solidarity with the gangsters who are running these repressive regimes, be it in Russia, be it in Iran, be it in China, and for the CIA and Mossad, being in the gangsters in Tel Aviv or the gangsters in Washington, D.C. Where's the moral consistency? Where's the integrity?
So, all right. So I'm gonna let that question go because I couldn't get an answer. I'm not in favor of bombing him. And so if you want me to be in solidarity with the resistance against the Grand Ayatollah and the mullahs, I'm all in. I'm totally in solidarity. I love them. I appreciate them. What is your definition of solidarity then, brother? Okay. What do you do? So that's what I'm asking you guys because I want to help, but I don't know how to help. We given our answer. We gave our answer. But here's no. I want to hear your answer. What does solidarity mean other than just saying, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna do that? What are you gonna do positively then? Okay, so we all agree on the problem, right? So there's a tyrannical government in Iran. That's right. And the fact that there's a tyrannical government in Israel doesn't justify the tyrannical government in Iran. That's right. We all agree that the Iranians are suffering. And to Anahita's point, it doesn't really matter what the numbers are. Yeah, I think there was a lot of propaganda in the numbers. I'm not gonna agree to it, but it doesn't matter. It's 3,000 is terrible enough, right? So, okay, so we agree on all that. And I agree with you guys. The Iranian people are very clear, at least certainly the ones that have family that is diaspora in America, definitely against the regime. But when people offer different solutions, let's bomb them. Hell no, I'm against intervention. I don't think bombing them is gonna help at all. They say Shah, okay, it's not my business. I wouldn't vote for, I'm not in favor of a dictator and a Shah's a dictator, but it's okay. Again, not my country. If they want to put a Shah in after the revolution happens, let them put him in. It's not my business. But Dr. West, part of the reason I have you guys on because I'm in search of an answer because I don't have one. Because I know what's not right, and you're not gonna change my opinion on that. There's no way I'm gonna be in favor of bombing. No way, okay? So then give me an alternative. Give me an alternative to bombing.
I think I understand what you're saying when you say what can we do. You mean the United States?
You mean the U.S. government?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I don't think in terms of U.S. government first and foremost, because they're gangsters too. But you know that too. But go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Let's talk about intervention, right? Because yes, I mean Iran is a country that has been the subject of coup d'états, so many times, wars, occupation, and people of Iran have a bitter taste about intervention. But intervention is not inherently moral or immoral. I think if you look at interventions historically, the facts are there to say there has been interventions that stopped ethnic cleansing. You were just in an interview this morning and you said the interventions of Soviet Union and Mandela during the apartheid. Yes, if I promise you, people of Iran are not walking in the streets and say, bomb us, but they are looking for an intervention that historically we have seen the facts that there were interventions to stop ethnic cleansings. There are interventions to protect people that are being oppressed and being killed in mass numbers. Those types of interventions. You're asking what US can do, what Israel can do. I don't know. These are not the regimes that know what morality is. I don't know what Trump or Netanyahu have plans for Iran. All I know is that Iranian people are asking, interventions help us. We are in a dungeon, locked in with no power, with no water, with no food, with no money, and our people, beloved people, are being killed. Jink, it's been 46 years. 46 years of these beautiful people, dignified people fighting with such a courage that is beyond and above anybody's imaginations. You're asking what type of interventions? Iraq was a different story. It was a lie. There was no there was no bombs or whatever. They went there to kill 500,000 people. This is different. The world is seeing the oppression of millions of people. So intervention is necessary. What type of intervention? I wish I can give you a solid answer, but I'm not gonna say go bomb my people. People are not saying that either, but people are asking for an intervention to stop the tyranny that they have been under for 46 years. That's the best answer I think I can give you, at least to my best of ability.
Yeah, look, I wish any of us had the answer, but so like for example, if you said, hey, let's make sure that we turn on Starlink so that they can get the internet, so they can organize internally. Yes. So anything that is not a physical bombing, invasion, attack, etc., that is in some ways helpful to the Iranian people, fantastic, totally in favor of it, right? If intervention means the US bombing, then I'm totally against it. So it depends on what we mean by intervention.
But those are not the only two options, though.
Yes, I agree.
We've been talking about the silence of the left in terms of the suffering of Iranian people, right? That doesn't mean we downplay Sudan, Haiti, anything else, but human beings are human beings. Raising your voices. How come there hasn't been a massive focus and limelight on the realities and the sufferings and the various forms of resistance in the left media? You know, the mainstream media, you don't expect it. They're gonna get their own conservative, neoconservative versions. Where's making it a priority? We made the Palestinian resistance a major priority, but no, when it comes to the Iranian priority, all we can talk about is, I'm not for bombs, I'm not for bombs. Israel's gonna manipulate this and that. Yes, those are elements, those are factors, but the people who are struggling, who are dying, said, raise their voices. They said the same thing in South Africa. They said the same thing across Africa in the decolonization struggle. Black folks said the same thing in the United States, man. The same reason.
Well, I mean,
so it's not just either what my government can do. When you think of what's happening in Iran, don't think in terms of what my government can do. Your first identity is not America first, US government first. It's I am a brother who's trying to be a person of moral force and have some ethical good, and I'm going to raise my voice and I'm going to use my resources to focus on this suffering and then acknowledge, but I don't know what the answer really is, because we don't.
Oh, then we end on total agreement because I mean,
that's cool. That's
yeah.
cool, though, brother.
If you want me to say I have sympathy and empathy for the good people of Iran, yeah, I will say that 1,000,000 times over, and everybody should. I think that's.
Do you think?
I guess I took it as obvious.
Do you think it's being said enough on the left?
I don't represent all the left. A lot of the left will tell you that.
You have access to. You are well educated, widely read, brother. You know that.
So
good God, we watch you all the time. We know how broadly you read, brother.
Yeah. So in terms, look, I really don't want to be responsible for every host on the left and everybody on the left.
No, we're not.
Yeah. And so all I'm saying is, I get it. I get the pain 100%. And Iran's been through so much pain through all these different kinds of dictators, right? And different oppressive regimes, and they deserve freedom like everyone else. And they deserve, to your guys' point, overwhelming sympathy from the whole planet. And there's no reason why they shouldn't get it. And the Persian culture is an amazing, rich, beautiful, awesome culture. One of the best, cultures in terms of their how they've influenced so many others throughout world history. So I desperately want to help. I came up with one idea, which is try to make sure the internet is on at all times, so at least they can organize, right? And if next time we talk, or whether it's with you guys or anyone else, if other people have other great ideas, I'm all ears. As long as we're not talking about Iraq 2.0, right? And
let me tell you one more thing before we end, because I have a conversation with someone in Iran. There was an opening of internet, and she actually told me, when we have these few minutes of internet opening and we look at the West, especially America, and we see how we are reduced to statistics and geopolitical conversations, we sit here and we realize how alone we are in our battle. And I said, what do you think is the best thing for Iranians to hear or to witness from the West? And she said, stand in solidarity with our suffering and with our resistance, and believe that we have enough agency to make a decision for our own destiny. We want a referendum, we will choose a person, there are many candidates, and we do want this transition to go, whether the son of Shah is symbolic or people want him, we believe that this transition can help us. That is directly a quote that I got from a person that is really not necessarily attached to any parties, but she has been under this oppression for decades.
Yeah, I mean, I guess super last thing I'll say, I think that we get stuck in binary brain way too much. So folks think, okay, you're either with the oppressed people of Iran or you're with Israel. No. Those are not your only two choices, okay? So like, yes, the Israelis are agitating for a war, and they want a regime change for their own purposes. That is definitely true. But it is also true that the Iranian people are oppressed and they do not want to live under this tyranny. So we recognize both of those facts. And now, as as Dr. West was saying, now we struggle to figure out what to do, right?
Right.
All of us together, humanity, trying to help those good folks in Iran without going in the wrong direction. So I hope that everybody watching, at a bare minimum, they're asking you, now that I understand the ask, then the ask is the bare minimum, which is at least stand in solidarity with those good people who are trying to do the right thing and get freedom for the Persian people, which they most certainly deserve, right? So
thank you so much.
We appreciate you giving us this time, though, brother. Definitely, you and your whole team.
It means a lot.
You've all been wonderful, man.
It means a lot.
You can stand in solidarity with Palestinians, Iranians, Haitians, black folk, Irish, but we look at the world from bottoms up, the least of these. That's the 25th chapter, Matthew, brother. That ain't no ideological gesture, a pose, a posture. That's a life lived and a death we're willing to embrace.
Yep, and look, at this network on TYT, we have interesting and intelligent conversations, not just yelling at each other or agree, disagree, etc. Right?
Absolutely.
And we mix it up and we try to figure out together what's the right thing to do.
Exactly right.
I appreciate you allowing us this opportunity to be able to say a few words for Iranian people. I really deeply appreciate that.
No problem at all.
God bless you and your beloved family and everybody, though, brother.
Thank you. You too. All right. So Dr. Karno West, Dr. Anahita Mahdavi West, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate the conversation. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets its wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.